The worst 6 words you can hear from a potential buyer is, "I didn't know you sold that." And that's what we're talking about in today's episode of the Daily Sales Message Podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. So disappointing when you, I didn't know you sold that. And you generally find this out when they've already bought it from somewhere else. Many years ago, I still do to this day, a lecturer at UCL, part of the Hatchery program, where I help startup entrepreneurs and founders with creating a clear sales message for their business. One of the students one day turned around to me and said, "James, you shouldn't be called clear sales message, you should be called obvious sales message, because a lot of stuff you talk about is pointing out the obvious." And they were right. So I bought obvioussalesmessage.com to secure my future. I still have to use clear sales message, and that's what I truly believe in. Things have to be clear. But hey, there's a big argument, a big case of things being obvious too, and that would stop something like this from happening. So there's a thing in computing called WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And that's what we're talking about here. You need to point out the bleeding obvious to people. This is how you can buy from us. These are our opening hours. This is where our shop is located, whatever the details happen to be. Here are all the things that we sell. Because if you get the, "I didn't know you sold that" situation, that's because respectfully, you didn't do a good enough job of educating that person as to how you can help them and what you sell and what you do. And that's a matter of WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. They didn't know that you sold that because you didn't tell them, or you didn't make it easy enough for them to understand, and thus they bought from somewhere where it was more obvious and easy to understand. The question is, and you can't do that on a couple of minute long podcast, but the question is, what aren't you telling your buyers? What aren't you clear or obvious about? And how can you make it more obvious what you sell and how people can buy from you? Because the more obvious that you can be, the easier you can be to buy from, and the less likely somebody's going to turn around and say, "Oh, I didn't know you sold that," and you lose the sale. Right, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you for listening or watching all the way to the end. I'll catch you tomorrow for another exciting edition.